Maria's heart almost stopped when she saw the wheelchair sliding backward. It was already too close to the glass railing. The small girl in the chair let out a sharp, terrified scream. One of the wheels got stuck on a broken tile, turned sideways, and the whole chair tilted toward the open edge of the balcony. In that second, time felt slow. Maria dropped her mop. The dirty water splashed across the shiny marble floor. Her worn black shoes slipped as she ran, but she did not stop. She threw herself forward with all her strength, arms stretched out. The wheelchair tipped. The girl's tiny hands let go of the railing. For a brief, horrible moment, Maria saw only the wide-open space beyond the balcony, 15 floors above the ground. She jumped. Her body crashed into the chair. Metal scraped loudly against the tiles. The chair twisted. The girl's small body flew forward. And then everything went black and loud and painful. There was a scream. Someone shouted, "Jesus! The girl!" Another voice yelled, "What is that cleaner doing?" And somewhere behind all the noise, the doors of the private elevator opened with a soft ding. A tall, powerful man stepped out and watched the scene in shock. That morning had started like any other. Maria Alvarez woke up before the sun in her small one-room apartment in Ayaganle. The ceiling fan above her clicked and rattled, but it did not really blow much air. The room was hot and sticky. She lay still for a moment and listened. Her younger brother Samuel was still sleeping on the mat beside her bed, his thin arm over his face. Her little sister Anita, curled up next to him, hugged a faded teddy bear that was missing one eye. Both of them breathed softly. Maria smiled a little. They looked so peaceful when they were asleep. When they were awake, they asked questions she did not always know how to answer. "Maria, when will we move to a better place?" "Maria, will I ever have my own bed?" "Maria, are you sure we will not be sent away from this house?" She always said the same thing. "Soon, I promise. Just trust me." Maria sat up, pressed her hand to her back, and winced. Cleaning rich people's houses and long hallways every day hurt her muscles. Her hands were always dry from chemicals. Her feet ached, but there was no time to complain. She had 3 mouths to feed. She had rent to pay. She had a dream she did not talk about. She wanted to go back to school. Once, long ago, teachers had told her she was smart. She loved books. She dreamed of becoming a nurse. But after their parents died in a bus accident on the Benenore Road, everything changed. At 22, she became mother, father, and big sister in one body. School became only a picture in her mind. Now, 10 years later, she was a cleaner at Windsor Crest Residences, one of the richest buildings in Lagos. People said big men, foreign investors, and hidden billionaires lived there. The floors always smelled like imported perfume. The elevators were smooth and silent. The glass walls shone like diamonds in the sun. But nobody looked at the cleaners twice. When Maria walked into the staff entrance that morning, she wore her plain blue uniform and carried her old mop and bucket. The security guard at the back gate barely glanced at her. "Morning," she said politely. He just hummed and waved her in. Inside the staff room, other workers chatted and laughed. Some scrolled on their phones. Maria checked the roster on the board. "Today again," she murmured. Her name was written next to Floor 15, Hallways and Balcony. Floor 15 was one of the most beautiful floors in the building. It had large glass windows, a wide balcony, and a view of the city that looked like something on TV. It was also where some of the most powerful people in Lagos lived, including, though she did not know it yet, a man called Chief Adesina. By 10 a.m., Maria was already on the 15th floor, pushing her cleaning cart. The hallway was so quiet she could hear her own footsteps. Soft light spilled from the ceiling lamps. The air smelled faintly of flowers and expensive air freshener. She hummed a small song under her breath as she worked. Forward, mop, backward, rinse. Forward, mop, backward, rinse. It was boring, but in her mind, she was far away. She imagined herself in a neat white nurse's uniform, walking confidently through a hospital, helping people, smiling at patients, signing her name on a chart. "Excuse me?" The small voice snapped her out of her daydream. Maria turned. At the end of the hallway, close to the balcony, she saw a little girl in a wheelchair. The girl had light brown skin and big dark eyes that looked too serious for her age. Her short black hair was tied into two puff ponytails with tiny purple bands. She wore a simple pastel purple dress and white socks with no shoes. Maria smiled. "Hello," she said gently. "Do you need help?" The girl hesitated. Um, I just wanted to see outside," she said. "I like the view." Maria glanced at the glass doors leading to the balcony. The morning sun was bright. From there you could see rooftops, busy roads, and tiny cars far below. It was beautiful, but also very high up. "Where is your nanny?" Maria asked. "She went downstairs to buy something. She said I should wait inside." The girl bit her lip. "But I'm tired of waiting." Maria felt a small tug in her chest. She knew how it felt to always wait for someone else to decide for you. "What's your name?" she asked. "Lily," the girl replied. "And you?" "Maria." Lily touched the wheels of her chair. "Maria," she said softly, "can you just push me closer to the glass? I promise I won't go far. I just want to see the sky properly." Maria looked around. The hallway was empty. The guards usually stayed near the elevators. No one was watching. She hesitated. Then she nodded. "Okay, but only a little. And I stay with you. All right?" A slow smile spread across Lily's face. "Okay." Maria locked the mop against the wall and walked behind the wheelchair. She pushed it gently toward the balcony doors. The wheels rolled smoothly over the tiles. As they reached the glass, Maria carefully pressed the brake. She opened the door and pushed the chair just a bit onto the balcony, enough for Lily to feel the soft breeze. Lily's eyes widened. "Wow," she whispered. From there, Lagos looked like a giant moving painting. "It's so big," Lily said. "Grandpa says our house is higher than most people's dreams." Maria's chest tightened at those words. She thought of her tiny room in Ahagunli. She thought of Samuel and Anita eating Gary with no sugar the night before. "Your grandpa must be very rich," Maria said quietly. Lily nodded. "He is. People are always afraid of him. Even my school principal shakes when he comes." Maria laughed a little. "Are you afraid of him?" Lily looked down at her legs for a moment. "Sometimes," she said. "He loves me. But after my mom died, he changed. He is always serious now, like he's angry at the whole world." Maria wanted to say something kind, but before she could speak, her phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a message from her landlord, reminding her that rent was due. Her throat went dry. She slipped the phone back quickly, not wanting Lily to see her face. "Can I move a bit on my own?" Lily asked. "I want to turn and look at the side." "Careful," Maria warned. "Let me help." But Lily was already pushing one wheel with her hand. The chair turned, but as it did, one wheel hit a cracked tile at the edge of the balcony floor. The wheel jerked, the chair shook. The brake was not fully locked. Maria's eyes widened. The wheelchair rolled backward, fast. "Lily!" she shouted. Lily grabbed the glass railing, fingers sliding on the smooth surface. Her eyes filled with fear. "Maria!" she cried. "Help me!" The metal frame scraped against the floor as the chair tilted toward the open edge. The world seemed to tilt with it. Far below, cars moved like tiny toys. Maria's body acted before her mind could think. She kicked off from the ground and ran, her shoes splashing through the wet patch she had just mopped. Her knee almost slipped, but she kept going. Every step felt heavy and slow, like running through water. The chair tipped even more. Lily's hands slipped. For one horrible second, Maria saw the little girl falling, her small body going over the railing, the empty air waiting to swallow her. "No!" Maria screamed. She launched herself forward, diving with all her strength. Her shoulders slammed into the wheelchair. She felt metal dig into her arm. The impact threw both of them sideways. Lily's body flew toward her, and Maria wrapped her arms around the girl, twisting her own body so that her back took the hit. They crashed hard onto the tiles. Pain exploded in Maria's side. The world spun. Her head hit the floor. The sound of metal clanging echoed in her ears. But her arms were locked tightly around Lily. The wheelchair bounced once, twice, then landed on its side, inches from the open space. The hallway filled with noise. A housekeeper screamed. A guard ran toward them, shouting into his radio. Someone from another apartment flung open their door. "What happened? Is the girl okay? Who pushed her?" Maria tried to sit up, breathless, her uniform torn at the shoulder, her elbow bleeding. Lily clung to her like a child who had just woken from a nightmare, sobbing into her chest. "She saved me," Lily cried. "She saved me." The elevator behind them opened with a soft ding. Everyone froze. A tall man stepped out. He wore a dark native caftan that fit his broad shoulders perfectly. His skin was a deep, rich brown. Silver streaks ran through his close-cut hair. Two men in suits followed behind him, but it was clear he was the one in charge. His eyes went straight to Lily on the floor. "Lily," he breathed. "Chief Adesina, sir," one of the guards stammered, already sweating. We, we are so sorry, sir. We don't know how." Another guard pointed at Maria. "It was the cleaner, sir. I think she was careless." Maria's heart dropped. She turned her head slowly and met the man's eyes. They were sharp, cold, full of power. He took one step forward, then another. The hallway seemed to shrink around them as he stopped right in front of Maria and looked down at her torn uniform, her shaking hands still holding his granddaughter. For a long, heavy moment, he said nothing. Then in a low, controlled voice, he opened his mouth to speak. Chief Adesina's voice was deep and steady, but there was a shadow inside it that made the entire hallway fall silent. "What," he said slowly, "happened to my granddaughter?" No one dared to breathe. His two bodyguards stepped back instinctively, as if they knew it was safer to give him space when he spoke in that tone. The air felt heavy. Even the soft hum of the hallway lights seemed to fade. Lily held on to Maria's shirt, her small fingers shaking. Maria felt her own heartbeat hammering so loudly she could barely hear anything else. She wanted to speak. She wanted to explain everything, but fear held her throat tight. Before she could find her words, one of the guards pointed again. "Sir, it was this cleaner. She was with the child. I don't know what she did, but the wheelchair fell and—" "Stop talking," Chief Adesina said calmly. But the calmness was more frightening than anger. The guard froze instantly. Then Chief Adesina bent down, not toward Maria, but toward Lily. He cupped Lily's cheeks gently with both hands, examining her face like he was checking for cuts. His touch was careful. His hands trembled slightly. A man feared across Lagos suddenly looked like a father terrified of losing the only family he had left. "Are you hurt?" he asked softly. Lily shook her head. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Grandpa, I almost fell." She pointed at Maria with both hands. "Maria saved me." The billionaire stiffened. His eyes slid toward Maria, slowly, sharply, like a lion turning to face someone who had stepped too close. Maria swallowed hard. She felt every pair of eyes on her. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Chief Adesina straightened up, tall and intimidating. He looked down at Maria, still sitting on the floor with Lily's head against her chest. "You," he said, "stand up." Maria tried to get to her feet. Pain shot through her shoulder and hip. She winced but forced herself upright. Her hands trembled so badly she had to grip the wall for support. She lowered her gaze, afraid to meet his eyes. I'm sorry, sir," she whispered. "I didn't mean—" "You are bleeding," he cut in. Maria blinked. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't blaming her. She looked up a little. His expression was unreadable, cold, confused, and shaken all at once. He stared at the cut on her arm, the torn uniform, the bruise forming on her cheek. Lily tugged his sleeve. "She saved me," the child said again, voice cracking. "Grandpa, she jumped. She didn't let me fall." The guards glanced at each other nervously. A housekeeper covered her mouth. Even the building manager, who had rushed upstairs after hearing the commotion, stood frozen in shock, because everyone expected the chief to explode, to shout, to fire someone on the spot. This was a man who once dismissed an entire hotel staff because one person delayed his meeting by 5 minutes. Everyone knew he did not tolerate mistakes, but this time, he just stood there, staring at Maria as if seeing through her. "Tell me what happened," he said quietly. Maria felt her throat tighten. She forced herself to speak. "I was cleaning the floor," she said softly. "The young girl was near the balcony. I told her to be careful, but the wheel hit a crack. The chair rolled backward." She took a shaky breath. "I ran and caught her." Silence. A long, deep silence. Chief Adesina turned to the guards. "And you accused her?" he asked. The guard stuttered. "Sir, I... I didn't know. She was on the floor. She..." "Enough," the chief said sharply. The guard shut his mouth. Then, to everyone's surprise, Chief Adesina lowered himself to one knee in front of Maria. Gasps filled the hallway. A billionaire, one of the richest men in Nigeria, kneeling before a cleaner? Nobody could understand it, not even Maria. She stared at him, eyes wide. His voice was softer now, broken around the edges. "You saved my granddaughter's life." Maria shook her head quickly. "I just did what anyone would do." "No," he interrupted, shaking his head with certainty. "Not anyone." His eyes darkened with a pain Maria recognized, deep grief. "Not after losing my daughter," he whispered. Lily tightened her grip on his arm, her eyes growing wet again. Maria looked at both of them, grandfather and granddaughter, and the truth hit her. This man wasn't just powerful. He was hurting, deeply. The loss of his daughter had carved a hollow space inside him, and losing Lily would have destroyed him completely. Maria felt her heart ache a little. She understood loss too well. Chief Adesina rose slowly. He turned to his assistant. "Get medical attention for her," he ordered. "Now!" Maria's eyes widened. "Sir, that's not necessary." "It is," he said again. "You are injured." One of the guards rushed to call the in-house nurse. Another offered Maria a seat, but she refused. Her eyes drifted toward her mop, the spilled water, the half-cleaned floor. "I need to finish my work before my supervisor comes," she said quietly. Everyone stared at her. Chief Adesina blinked. "You risked your life to save Lily." Maria nodded once. "Sir, it was the right thing to do." He had no words for that. Instead, he studied her face, tired eyes, worn uniform, and a bravery she didn't even look proud of. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She just acted. Suddenly, the elevator dinged again. A frantic young woman rushed out, a nanny wearing sandals and holding 2 nylon bags of snacks. "Lily, oh my God, what happened?" Maria braced herself. This was the part where people often blame the cleaner. The nanny dropped the bags on the floor. "Sir, I left her for only 3 minutes." "3 minutes too long," Chief Adesina snapped. The nanny froze. But then Lily pointed at Maria with a bright, trembling smile. "This is Maria. Grandpa, she's my new friend. She saved me, and I want her to stay." The nanny blinked, stunned. Chief Adesina's expression changed, just a little. He turned to Maria again, as if seeing her in a new light. And for the first time since he entered the hallway, a softer warmth touched his eyes. "You said her name is Maria?" "Yes, Grandpa." He nodded slowly, as though making a decision that would surprise everyone, including himself. "Maria," he said, "after today, nothing in your life will ever be the same." Before Maria could ask what he meant, he took Lily gently into his arms, lifting her with surprising tenderness. He looked back once more, straight at Maria, holding her gaze, as if telling her silently, "I owe you more than words." Then he turned away and carried Lily toward the elevator. Everyone watched. Everyone whispered. Everyone wondered. Because no one, not the guards, not the nanny, not the building staff, could predict what the billionaire was about to do next. Maria touched the bruise on her cheek. Her whole body was still shaking, and she had no idea that this moment was only the beginning of something far, far bigger. Maria expected everything to return to normal the next day. She expected to wake up early, dress in her blue cleaner's uniform, hurry to the bus stop, and quietly slip into the Windsor Crest staff entrance, like she always did. But nothing about the next day was normal, not even close. Maria slept badly that night. Her body ached from the fall. Her elbow burned where the skin had scraped off, and her shoulder pulsed from the crash against the tiles. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Lily's chair tipping backward, the glass railing rushing forward, and the empty air waiting below. At 5 a.m., she forced herself out of bed. Samuel and Anita were still sleeping, curled against each other on the tiny mat. The room was quiet except for the soft buzz of mosquitoes. Maria moved slowly, trying not to wake them. Her arm hurt when she lifted the bucket to fetch water, but she made herself do it anyway. She could not afford to miss work, not even after almost dying. She washed her face, tied her hair back, and ironed her uniform on the edge of the bed. As she dressed, she whispered a small prayer, not for wealth but for strength to survive another day. She stepped outside into the early morning darkness, locked the wooden door gently, and headed for the bus stop. What she didn't know was that her life was already changing behind the scenes. By the time Maria arrived at the building, something strange was already happening. Workers were whispering as she walked past. Security guards paused mid-conversation. One of the receptionists stared openly, blinking fast, as if she couldn't believe Maria was standing in front of her. Maria didn't understand. She checked her uniform. "Is there something on my face?" she asked softly. The woman at the reception swallowed. "They told us, that is," Chief Adesina said. "Well," before she could finish, the doors of the private elevator opened with a soft ding. A tall man in a dark suit stepped out. It wasn't the chief, it was his personal assistant, Mr. Balogan, a serious-looking man with small glasses and a sharp jaw. When he saw Maria, he walked straight toward her. Every worker in the lobby froze. "Are you Maria Alvarez?" he asked. Maria felt her stomach twist. "Yes, sir. You are to follow me." Her heart raced. "Sir, if it is about yesterday, please. I didn't mean to break any rule." He raised a hand. "Chief Adesina is waiting for you." Maria followed him into the private elevator. She had never been inside it before. It was silent, smooth, and lined with gold-tinted mirrors. She stood stiffly in the corner, afraid to touch anything. The elevator rose to the top floor, the penthouse. When the doors opened, Maria stepped into a world she had only seen in movies. Marble floors polished like glass, tall windows showing the whole of Lagos, white leather couches, paintings that probably cost more than everything she owned. And standing in the center of the room was Chief Adesina. He wasn't wearing the formal kaftan from yesterday. Today he wore a simple white shirt, sleeves rolled up, as if he had been pacing the room. His face was tired yet alert. Beside him was Lily, sitting in a soft wheelchair with pink cushions. When Lily saw Maria, her face lit up. "Maria." Maria's heart melted. "Good morning, Lily," she said gently. Chief Adesina turned fully to face her. His sharp gaze softened the moment he saw the faint bruise on her cheek. "You should have stayed home to rest," he said. Maria froze. He cared. "Sir, I needed to work," she whispered. "Not today," he replied. "Today is different." Maria's heartbeat skipped. She did not understand what he was planning, but her fear grew. "Sir," she began, "if this is about yesterday, please don't fire me. I swear I didn't mean to break any rule. I only wanted to save my granddaughter," he finished. Maria lowered her eyes. "Yes, sir." He took a slow step toward her. "Maria," he said in a tone she had never heard from a rich man before. Steady, respectful, almost gentle. "You risked your life for a child you don't know. You jumped without thinking about yourself." He paused. "What you did is something I will never forget." Maria swallowed hard. Her eyes stung. She had never heard words like that directed at her. Not from someone powerful, not from anyone. Chief Adesina gestured toward the couch. "Please sit." Maria sat carefully, scared she might stain the perfect white cushion with her uniform. Lily rolled her chair closer and took Maria's hand. "Grandpa told everyone about you," Lily whispered proudly. "He said you're brave." Maria blinked fast to hold back tears. "I am not anything special," she whispered. "Yes, you are," Lily insisted. Chief Adesina cleared his throat softly. "Maria, I want to know about you." Maria stiffened. "About me, sir?" "Yes. Your life, your family, your dreams, everything." Maria froze. Why would a billionaire want to know anything about a cleaner? But Lily squeezed her hand. "Tell him," she whispered. "Grandpa listens." So Maria told them. She told them about Samuel and Anita. She told them about losing her parents. She told them about struggling to pay rent, skipping meals, and dreaming of becoming a nurse one day. She told them everything she had never said aloud. When she finished, Chief Adesina stood still for a long time. Then he inhaled deeply, like a man making a choice. Maria, he said, I do not believe in accidents. Yesterday happened for a reason. She looked up, unsure. He took one step closer, and then he said the words that froze her to the core. I want to give you a second chance at life. Maria blinked. Sir, I don't understand. You will, he said. From today, I am offering you three things. He raised one finger. First, a new position in my household. Better pay, better hours. A second finger. Second, a fully funded scholarship. You will go back to school. Maria's breath caught. Her lips trembled. Sir, I... A third finger. Third, I will move your younger siblings into safe housing. No more sleeping on a mat. No more skipping meals. They will live well, and so will you. Maria's vision blurred with tears. She tried to speak, but nothing came out. Lily smiled at her gently. You saved me, Maria, she whispered. Now Grandpa wants to save you too. Maria covered her mouth with her hand, trying not to cry. Nobody had ever offered her anything like this. No one had ever cared this deeply. She stared at the billionaire, at this powerful man whose eyes were soft with sincerity, and realized the truth. He wasn't just helping her. He needed this too. He needed hope. He needed healing. He needed someone who brought light into his granddaughter's life. But before Maria could answer, before she could speak, the doors to the penthouse burst open. A loud, angry voice shouted, Dad! What is this? I'm hearing about you giving a cleaner a place in this family. Maria spun around and saw a woman she had never seen before. Tall, well-dressed, frowning, angry. Who was she? And why did her voice sound like trouble? Maria had never seen anyone enter a room with so much anger. The tall woman stood at the entrance of the penthouse like a storm in heels. She wore a fitted emerald dress, gold earrings that swung sharply as she moved, and a designer purse hanging on her arm. Her makeup was perfect, but her expression was anything but calm. Her eyes, sharp, cold, and full of judgment, landed on Maria instantly. You, the woman snapped. You're the cleaner. Maria froze. Chief Adesina shut his eyes briefly, as if bracing for trouble. Lily gripped the wheel of her chair nervously. The woman marched forward, heels striking the marble floor like tiny explosions. Dad, she said, turning to the chief, have you lost your mind? I heard from the guards downstairs that you're offering this girl a place in this family? Is that a joke? Chief Adesina stood tall, shoulders squared. Her tone had no effect on him, but Maria's entire body trembled. This was exactly the kind of woman who never noticed cleaners, the kind who looked at uniforms and saw less than, the kind who spoke loudly so others would know she was important. The chief's voice was calm, too calm. Aisha, he said firmly, lower your voice. No, she fired back, throwing her hands in the air. I will not. You are being reckless. You don't even know her. Aisha. The name clicked in Maria's mind. This must be the chief's other child, Lily's aunt. The only surviving link to Lily's late mother. Aisha crossed her arms and glared at Maria like she was dirt on her shoe. This is unbelievable. Dad, tell me you didn't promise her anything serious. Please, you cannot let strangers into this house. Do you know the kind of people cleaners associate with? Maria looked down at her hands, trying to keep her breath steady. Lily gasped. Auntie Aisha, don't talk like that. Aisha ignored her. What do you even want? She demanded at Maria. Money? A promotion? Did you stage the whole thing to get pity? Maria's chest tightened. Her throat burned. Shame and fear washed through her like cold water. She opened her mouth to explain, but nothing came out. Because what could she say? That she never wanted anything? That she would have jumped even if nobody saw? That she was just trying to save a child? Aisha scoffed. Look how quiet she is. Of course, guilty people never talk. Lily pushed her chair forward angrily. She saved me. You weren't there. Aisha hesitated for a split second, but then scoffed again. She shouldn't have been near you in the first place. Isn't that her job? To stay invisible and clean floors? Why was she even talking to you? Why did she let you go outside? Chief Adesina's jaw tightened. Enough, he said quietly. But Aisha wasn't done. She turned to him again, voice rising. You're letting grief blind you. You lost mom. You lost sister. Now you're paranoid that Lily might get hurt too. I understand that. I do. But bringing a cleaner into our home, offering scholarships, housing, Dad, that is madness. Her voice trembled slightly, not with kindness, but with pride. People will laugh at us, she cried. They will say this family has gone crazy. Chief Adesina finally stepped forward. His voice dropped into a tone that silenced the entire room. Aisha, she fell quiet immediately. The chief looked her straight in the eyes. You were not here yesterday, Aisha swallowed. You did not see your niece about to fall from a 15-story balcony. You did not see this woman dive without thinking. You did not see her bleed. You did not see her hold Lily like she was her own child. Aisha looked away. The chief continued. I am not being reckless. I am being grateful. He walked toward Maria, who stood frozen, with her hands clasped tightly. This woman, he said, saved the only thing I have left in this world. His voice cracked ever so slightly. So yes, I am offering her a new life. Not because I have lost my mind, but because she deserves it. Aisha stared at him, stunned. Lily smiled proudly. Maria felt her knees weaken. Aisha recovered quickly, folding her arms. No, I don't accept it. The chief's eyes hardened. You don't need to accept it. It is not your decision. It is my decision, she snapped. I'm part of this family. I won't let a stranger suddenly enter our lives and take advantage of your kindness. She stepped closer to Maria, eyes blazing. You think you're smart, right? She hissed. Saving a child so you can climb your way into a billionaire's house? You think I don't see through you? Maria felt tears burn behind her eyes. I didn't do it for money, she whispered. Of course you did, Aisha said. People like you always want something. Maria shook her head quickly. No, Ma. I would never. Aisha cut her off with a laugh. Spare me. Then she turned to her father again. Dad, if you go through with this. Enough, the chief thundered. The room fell silent instantly. Even Aisha froze, startled. The chief stepped forward, his presence filling the room. Aisha, I have tolerated your pride, your sharp tongue, your stubbornness. But what you are doing right now, he shook his head slowly, is wrong. Aisha blinked, stunned. You don't know Maria, and yet you judge her. He turned to face Maria again. His next words shocked the room. From today, she is under my protection. Aisha gasped loudly. Lily grinned excitedly. Maria's breath caught. Dad, you can't be serious. Get used to it, the chief said, because this is happening. Aisha's face twisted. She grabbed her purse, her voice trembling with anger. You're making a mistake. She stormed toward the door, but before leaving, she turned back with one final glare at Maria. This isn't over, not by far. Then she left, slamming the door so hard the window shook. The room was suddenly quiet. Maria stood rooted to the spot, still trembling. Lily rolled to her quickly. Maria, don't be scared. Auntie Aisha always acts like that. But Maria wasn't thinking about Aisha. She was thinking about the man standing in front of her, the powerful billionaire who chose her side. Chief Adesina approached her slowly. I'm sorry for her behavior, he said softly. She is still grieving, and grief makes people cruel. Maria nodded slowly. I understand, sir. He paused. But my decision hasn't changed. Maria held her breath. You will take the offer. Her eyes widened. Sir, I don't know if I should. It's not charity, he said gently. It's gratitude, and it's the right thing. Lily held Maria's hand again, smiling brightly. Please stay, she whispered. I like you. Maria blinked fast, tears gathering. For the first time in years, someone wanted her. Someone believed in her. Someone was offering her a future she had buried long ago. But before Maria could answer, someone knocked on the penthouse door. Hard, urgent. The chief frowned. Who is that? The assistant rushed to open it, and the building manager stormed in, sweating and panicked. Sir, Chief, we have a problem. Downstairs, right now. Maria's heart jumped. What happened? The chief demanded. The manager swallowed. It's about her. He pointed at Maria. Everyone turned to her. Maria's blood ran cold. What now? The building manager's face was pale as he pointed at Maria. Sir, it's about her family, he said breathlessly. Maria's heart started pounding fast, so fast she felt dizzy. My family? She whispered. What happened? Are Samuel and Anita okay? We, we're not sure, the manager stammered. But there's a crowd downstairs. The police are here too. Maria's vision blurred for a moment. Police? Crowd? Her siblings? Fear wrapped tight around her chest. Without waiting for permission, she rushed toward the elevator. Lily wheeled after her with quick pushes, and Chief Adesina and his assistant followed immediately. Aisha, the chief barked. Stay upstairs. But Aisha, who had silently re-entered the room after the shouting earlier, stepped into the hallway anyway. No, she said sharply. I want to see this too. Chief Adesina glared but didn't argue. There was no time. The private elevator opened and they all entered. Maria's hands shook as she grabbed the rail for balance. Her mind spun with horrible thoughts. Did something happen at home? Did my siblings get hurt? Did someone follow them? Did my landlord throw them out? When the elevator reached the ground floor, the doors slid open and chaos rushed in. Dozens of residents stood gathered in the lobby. Security guards blocked the entrance. 2 police officers looked overwhelmed. People held phones up, recording. As soon as Maria stepped out, a few people gasped. There she is. That's the cleaner. The child almost died because of her yesterday. No, she saved the child. Nobody really knows what happened. Maria felt all eyes burn into her. She wrapped her arms around herself, trembling. But then she heard it, a small cry. Maria! Samuel, her little brother, ran from the crowd and threw himself into her arms. Anita followed right behind him, sobbing as she hugged Maria's waist. Maria dropped to her knees, ignoring the pain rushing up her side. What happened? Are you both okay? She asked, grabbing their faces gently. Samuel sniffed. The landlord came. He said we must leave the house today. He said he'll throw our things away. We didn't know where to go. So we came here because we didn't know any other place where you are, Anita cried into Maria's uniform. We were scared. So scared. Maria froze. The landlord threatened them. Today, her home, gone, her siblings, almost homeless. Her stomach twisted painfully. The police officer stepped forward. Ma'am, the children were found sitting outside the staff gate alone. They said they were looking for you. That's why we escorted them in. Maria nodded quickly. Thank you, sir. They didn't have anywhere else. Aisha suddenly stepped between them. What kind of family trouble is this? She snapped. Dad, do you see what I mean? We don't need this kind of drama. First the balcony fall, now this. Soon the whole building will be talking about us. Maria felt heat rise to her cheeks, not from anger, from shame. She wanted the floor to open and swallow her whole. Lily wheeled forward aggressively. Auntie Aisha, stop! Everyone went quiet. Lily turned to her grandfather, eyes big and serious. Grandpa, she said, voice trembling, if Maria didn't save me, I would not be here. And if I was gone, would Auntie care? Would anyone here care as much as Maria did? Isha's mouth hung open, but no words came out. The chief lowered himself to look Samuel and Anita in the eyes. Where is your mother? He asked gently. Maria answered for them. She died years ago, sir. And your father? He died too, in the same accident. The lobby went quiet. Pain shadowed the billionaire's eyes. Real pain. The kind only someone familiar with deep loss would understand. He stood slowly. He turned to Aisha and said with steady calm, This is exactly why Maria deserves what I offered. Aisha shook her head. Dad, no. Yes, he interrupted firmly. I lost my daughter. I will not stand by and watch another family drown in pain when I can help. He faced Maria next. Your siblings will not return to that place, he said. Maria's lips parted. Sir, they will stay somewhere safe, somewhere clean, somewhere stable. He looked at his assistant. Arrange a service department for them today. A gasp rippled through the crowd. Dad, this is too much, Aisha shouted. But Chief Adesina didn't even look at her. He continued speaking to Maria. And your scholarship still stands. You will study. You will become what you always dreamed of. Samuel's eyes lit up. Maria, you're going to school? Maria felt tears slip down her cheeks. She wiped them fast, ashamed of crying in public. Yes, she whispered. I I think I am. Lily smiled softly, wheeling closer. And you'll still be with me, right? She asked. Maria bent down and hugged the child. Yes, she whispered. Always. Aisha threw her hands up dramatically. So that's it? You've chosen a cleaner over your own daughter? The chief finally turned to her. I'm choosing what is right, he said quietly. If that offends you, then you must ask yourself why. Aisha opened her mouth to argue again, but she saw something in her father's eyes, something that made her stop, something that made her realize the argument was over. Forever. She stormed toward the exit, grabbing her purse. Fine, do whatever you want, but don't expect me to support this madness. She shoved the door open and left. The room exhaled in relief. Maria stood still, overwhelmed. Chief Adesina walked to her and placed a hand over his chest. Maria, he said softly, yesterday, you gave my family a second chance. His voice cracked again, but he didn't hide it. Today, I'm giving you yours. Maria burst into tears. But for the first time, they were tears of hope. She hugged her siblings tightly, feeling their small arms wrap around her. The crowd watched with soft eyes. Lily wheeled herself next to them and held Maria's hand. Chief Adesina placed a gentle hand on Maria's shoulder, and in that moment, surrounded by strangers, police officers, guards, and the billionaire who had just changed her destiny, Maria realized something she never believed could be true. Her life was no longer falling apart. It was finally coming together. Thanks for watching. What's your view about this story? Where are you watching from? Do well to let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. Stay blessed.